In the next tutorial I will try to explain you how I make curtain walls, and I make two types. One type is the one where there are walls behind every mullion, and the other type is a curtain wall that stands on its own, where the mullions are actually the structure. To explain the first kind of curtain wall, the one with the walls attached to them, walls behind them, I mean, you first take your piece of PVC, your glass, and you cut it to the right size. Then the second thing you will do is already apply this piece to your wall. Now the first step, never use glue like this to apply a piece of plastic to your model, because you all know this, I think. If I would now apply glue here, even when I pull off some glue with my finger, if you push it on and you push, the glue will spread and it will mess up the glass. So what I use is just double-sided tape. You have a few different kinds. This kind is the one they use for putting carpet on the floor, so it's very sticky. This is the same type as this, but just in smaller strokes. And this one is also a very sticky one, small stroke, but this is, I find, less sticky than this. Depending on the thickness of your wall, you can use this one. I think I can use this one here, or you can just use this one and make strips out of them. Now I think for this wall, this one is perfect. So I'll now apply the glue, the tape to all the walls. Now you just remove the coating and put your piece of plastic on it. Like this. Now the last step, because you just have a glass wall now with no finishing, is to put strips over the places where the walls are, in order to make a curtain wall. If you just want a white curtain wall for a simple white model, you can just apply some double-sided tape to a piece of very thin cardboard and put it on. But I want to really let the curtain wall stand out, so I'm gonna make black strips, and I'll show you first how I make those black strips. So first thing you do to make some just normal white strips is take a piece of cardboard with the same color as your building. You would like to say now that it's white. It always is the same color. It's not, because some cardboard types that are sold as white are actually a little yellow. So if you are going to buy this in the store, you can best take a piece of your material that you already used to the store to compare the colors. What you do is just turn it around, put some double-sided tape on it, like this. Cut it off. Cut the edges off, because otherwise you will stick to it every time you take it. And then the first thing you do, because there's a ribbled strip, is to cut off the edge. And this you will not use, so you don't have to measure it, just to cut off the edge. And now you can start making strips. You just measure the thickness of your wall, slice it, next one, next one, next one, next one. And I hate doing this, so mostly I take some time to make like 20 or 40 strips at one time, so that in the later steps of your projects, when you need additional strips, you will not need to make them again. Also, if you use the same kind of like foam board here, 3 millimeters, you can always use them afterwards in other projects. But I want to make black curtain walls, so before cutting the strips I will apply a piece of self-adhesive black foil. I don't know how it's called, but we can get it in our local store. So just peel off the back. It's very, very thin, but it sticks like hell. And obviously you just have cut off the edge here. If you are going to use this and you know it by forehand, then you best just glue this on first and then slide off the edge. But now I just place it on. Take my roller. And slice off the edge again. And now I can start making strips. Because it is so thin, 3 millimeters, I think it's time to replace my knife, because you always have to keep working with a super sharp knife, and you will find moments in your projects when you realize that the next step, like this step, really needs a sharp knife. One quick tip: if you don't want to keep measuring the 3 millimeters every time, just use a piece of the foam board where your model is made from, and use this to measure the widthness here, there, and then cut. It's much faster than reading the numbers every time. Just a quick tip. Okay. I have my strips. They do stick a little, so try to store them not next to each other, but on top of each other if you can. And also something I will do next time is, because it takes a lot of time to make these strips and you have to be very patient to keep your measurer very firm and your knife sharp, and is that you, during the year, in moments when you don't have too much to do, not too much stress, make a batch of them in standard sizes, like the 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter and 3 millimeter, and also 5 millimeter. And make as much as you can. Do it at school maybe, during the the design studio and when you don't have anything to do it at home. Take an hour to make strips, and then you will find that when you have your deadline, you don't have to put too much time in making strips. Now, of course, these are black. When you have white strips, they are white all around, except for where the tape is. But these are black, and if I would now apply this strip on it for a concept model, it will be good enough. But you have a white edge, and in reality, these edges aren't white. These are like steel or aluminum frames that are totally black. So you need to find a way to make the edge black, especially if you're going to make pictures that are very close up. Now, what I do is I take I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but a calligraph pen or something like that. It's actually alcohol-based pen with a white tip, and theoretically I will just paint in the edges like this, but you can already see this is going to take a lot of time, and if you have a whole batch of strips, like 50 or 100, this is terrible to do. So I've made a small device. It's this one. It's actually just some piece of wood or cardboard with a slit in between. That is the exact width of the strip. Actually a little wider, so the strip can go through, but not too much, because otherwise the strip will flip on its side. And what I will do is, because this is also work that needs to be done very quick, is put some double-sided tape. Wait, this one's gone. Just put some double-sided tape on the back of the device, so it will keep firm on your desk. And this is also best if you do it during the year, because it's also something I don't like to do, but it has to be done if you want like a perfect black edge on your strip. You just, I'll zoom in. Now you just pull your strip through, paint the first few centimeters or inches if you're an American or an Englishman. Pull it through, mark the first few centimeters, and then just put your finger, your middle finger, onto the device. Push the marker down as close to this little plate as possible, otherwise you will go off of your strip, and just pull it through like this. Sometimes you have to go over some pieces again. Could also be because my marker is beginning to dry up, but normally if you have a fresh marker, a very wet one, it will go very fast. But I have to buy a new one. Yep. First few centimeters, put it on, slide it through. I'll go a little slower because my marker is dry, but normally this is very, very fast. Take the next one. Okay, now that we got all of our strips, we can start applying them. And I'll start with the long edges first, and then fill in the small ones. The long edges will go very fast. You just cut off an edge, measure it with your knife, put a little slit in it, press down, and now you can use this one as a template to cut the others. Use this one every time again, because if you have like a tenth of a millimeter, I would say, or half a millimeter longer or shorter, that's no problem. But if you use this one to cut the next and you have the like the half a millimeter extra or shorter again, and you use this one to do the next and the next and the next and the next, if you do 10 strips, you will have 1, 2, maybe 3 millimeters difference. So always put this one aside and use your first one as a template again. Every time again, but I'll need just 3, so this is okay. And now you just peel off the back side. Put this on. Look at this edge is less important. Put it on like this. And if you have a roller like me, I don't know where to buy them. I found them in some guy's garage. I had to clean up and this was left over. So if you find one, it's very handy to press down the glue, because it will be very, very firmly pressed to your building. Do this for the next 3 strips. Now the shorter ones, they will take more time, because at first what I did was just measure the distance in between. Actually, there are 2 ways. You can measure, and if you can see that it is all the same distance, theoretically it should, but it never is. Like this one's 3 centimeters, this one's 2.95, this one's again 3, 295, 290 or 95. It's not a lot, but you will see the gap. And in order to prevent this, you take a strip, make the edge clean, hold it in place. With your knife, make a little scratch. Doesn't have to be much, just a little scratch. Cut it off and put it aside. But put it at a place where you know that this strip represents this one. So on the right top, keep this the same. Do the next one, carve a little piece in it, cut it, put it aside. Next one, carve, cut, put aside, and do this for the entire side of your building. Maybe it's even easier if you just do this side first, stick the sticks on it, and then do the other side, so you will not mess up these 2 sides. It's not much, so I'll quickly make the other 2. And I'll just start applying them. Take the first one, peel it off, put it against pressure, release, and then with your knife you can put it in like this. Next one, press against this side. I'll zoom in a little. So press against the side, hold it with your finger, release it, and then with your knife you can really adjust it so that it is really straight. And then afterwards, always with the roller or even with your thumb, slide over it and it will never ever loosen again. The double-sided tape is so sticky that for these kinds of models it will never loosen up, and this way you will not have any kind of glue on the edges. It works much faster than applying glue on it, rubbing it off, or applying glue on your piece, rubbing it off. This way is very fast and very clean. So I'll finish it up and show you the result. So this is the finished result of the curtain wall. I've placed a little man behind it so you can see the concept better. It looks very clean, also because the tape, or the, how did I call it, the self-adhesive foil is from good quality, and this way you can have a nice looking curtain wall for your building without having to spill any glue on your glass. Hope you found this tip very handful. Now, the second way to make a curtain wall that has to be placed in between a hole in your building, where the mullions have to stand on their own without any walls in between them, is it's actually the same principle. You take the plastic and apply strips on them according to what you see behind. But in this case we don't have anything behind, so we just simply print out the curtain wall, or we sketch it out as it is. Best way is to actually not print it out, but to measure the hole in your model, because there could be a small difference, like 1 or 2 millimeters between some sides. So if you want it to fit exactly, it's best that you sketch out the hole of your curtain wall exactly from your model. Then take a piece of plastic. You can of course measure it to the right distance, but what I usually do to make it exactly fit is just place it on there, a little rough, and then scratch like the corners with my knife. See that I don't move it, like that. Here too. And you don't have to be busy with measuring it up and everything. I'm gonna mark an X here to know that that is the top. I'm gonna cut it out, but because I have to still be able to place it on my example with a piece of tape, I'm gonna leave one piece here and one piece here still on it. So I'll just show you. If you have thicker pieces of glass, you can just make like a few scratches and just break it off like this. That works too. Now I've placed my X here. Also, you don't want to like turn it around, but because then it will not fit anymore. But you can feel the scratch, so you will know that that is the side up. I will place this on my sketch with the tape. Now, something I forgot to say was that using a sketch like this is also handy for if you have like this example. Just sketched it real quickly. If you have a sloped edge, if you have a door that needs to be cut out, if there's a window that needs to be also cut out. You can make your marks on this paper and use it as a template. Of course, the example is very simple, but that's why I use these templates. I have an example here from my other project. It's a lot of mullions. This one I've marked it, needed to be 2 millimeters to the other side. Here you have the doors that need to be cut out. If you have a template like this, it will work much easier. And now we just repeat the steps we did first. Of course, now we have like 3 millimeter strips here and 1 millimeter strips there, but it's actually the exact same principle as we did in the previous example. Just place it on, make a mark, cut it off, use this as a template for the others. Or if you have sloped edges, of course, then you'll have to keep remeasuring your mullions. And now I will do the smaller strips, only now instead of the 3 millimeter strips I will use the 1 millimeter strips. Okay, we finished this side of the curtain wall, because of course with this curtain wall you don't need to do the back because there are walls behind it. But because this curtain wall is standing on its own, you need to apply the same strips that I did on this side. You have to apply them on the other side too. So we can remove our curtain wall from our template. We will still know what will be the front and upper side because we have the X marked here, and we can feel where the scratch is. So I will know that this is the front side and this will be the back side. So I will not use the template anymore. I will use the paper just so I can see my things better. And now I will apply again the 3 large strips and all the mini strips on the back, but now I will use the strips that are already placed as a template to align my, my other strips. Okay, we're almost finished. We have 2 sides now that are done. So if you take a close-up, if you want to make pictures of your model afterwards from the inside or from the outside, doesn't matter. Your curtain wall is finished, both sides. There's one remark I can make, and that is because if you really are a perfectionist, and especially when you make larger scale models, I mean like 1/50th or 1/20th, then you really want to see the details. And mostly in the most curtain walls, the front mullions are very close to the glass, but then the back mullions are the support mullions, that actually keep your whole structure firm. They are mostly much thicker. Like the front ones could be in reality 2 to 5 centimeters just to cover up the glass, but the backs can be like 10 centimeters, 20 centimeters. So if you make a large scale model, you can just put small strips on the front, like 1 millimeter, and can go as far as like 5 millimeters to the back. So your curtain wall can even look more realistic. Now there's just one thing I need to do, and that is cut off my my tape holder and my mark that says what is the front. But before I do that, I will just put a piece of tape on my wall to implicate that this is the up side and the piece where the tape is on is the front side, so I will know that. So now I'll just cut off the edges, but because it is glass, I will not just cut here, just like that. To be sure that I do not damage my mullion, I best place a measurer on top and then cut it. And maybe just scratch it and pull it off like that, just to be sure not to damage anything. Like that. Pull it off. And now you can even, if you have a sharp knife, go over it like that to make sure that it is perfectly clean. And I will hope that my curtain wall will fit my model. If it doesn't fit, you can easily apply some marks on it and then reshape your wall. But normally, before applying the mullions, you should be checking if your PVC already fits, and then carefully apply your mullions. And that's how I make curtain walls. Here are just some examples of curtain walls that I've already made for my projects, and they are all made by sort of the same technique I just showed you.